Are you listening?
Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report. My name is Brian Chappelle, and on this week's episode, Fortnite becomes a school sport, Apex Legends is about to enter Assimilation, a sequel of The Order 1886 may have just been leaked, and with all eyes on the next gen, Xbox has been working on a secret weapon that they hope will win the next generation. But before we jump into any of that, your top headlines. First up this week, the Xbox Series X. Since our first look at the console during the Game Awards, gamers have been begging for new pictures of the console like horny teenage boys on Snapchat. In fact, the demand was so high that during CES, AMD used faked fan-made images to satisfy gamers' desires for steamy next-gen pics of the Xbox Series X. Well, if you find yourself among the prepubescent X-boys out there, never fear, because this week, new images of an Xbox Series X prototype leaked on Twitter. Now, the images in question come from Doug_DragoX on Twitter, and they show both the front and the back of the Xbox Series X prototype. And speaking of backsides, the back of the Xbox Series X features two USB-A ports, a power port, an Ethernet connection, along with an HDMI port. Apex Legends was in the news this week as developer Respawn sat down to celebrate its 1-year anniversary. Wow, that came up fast. Along with teasing Season 4 of Apex, Assimilation. The upcoming new season of content will launch on Tuesday, February 4th, and is titled Assimilation. The season will feature a new legend called Forge, a mixed martial artist who finds himself competing through the sponsorship by Hammond Labs. Season 4 will also be home to a new Battle Pass, which features over 100 exclusive items, including new legendary skins, Apex packs, loading backgrounds, music packs, emotes, and much more. But that's not all, because Season 4 will also bring a new weapon, the Sentinel, into combat. Now, according to Respawn, this bolt-action sniper rifle will cut through your enemy's armor before they ever see you coming. Apex Legends Assimilation will launch on February 4th for all platforms. The Order 1886, quite possibly the most overlooked game of the PlayStation 4 generation. Unless we include My Name is Mayo, because that game was robbed. Well, this week, NeoGAF user Osiris Black, who successfully leaked information about the PlayStation 4 Pro release in the past, began to describe a new trailer that they have personally seen. It is the best looking anything that I have ever seen. And the character model's lighting and physics are on another level. The main character of this game is impossible to confuse with anyone else. And this game has not been revealed, but I have hinted at it several times. This is not a cutscene or a render target. It is actual gameplay, and it is very impressive. Osiris then begins to describe the trailer in such great detail, which, to do it justice, you know what? Give me 1 second. A man walks into a dimly lit room. Light bleeds across the room from a shoulder-mounted communication device. The man covers the device on his shoulder, but the light bleeds through his hands. The man pulls a firearm and continues making his way through the large, sterile room. A noise comes from behind him, and he turns around, removing his hand from the device at his shoulder and revealing himself to everyone. Off in the distance, a pair of yellow eyes open and fix on the man. He raises his firearm and fires off several shots, the flash from the gun illuminating the darkness as the creature reels, then attacks. He fires off a few more shots while on his back and scampers to his feet. The monster, still chasing him, makes his way into the next room and slams the door behind him. You hear a series of clicks and other weird noises coming through the door. The man is breathing heavily and removes one hand from the door and clutches his side. blood is running down his side and his pant leg and pooling under the door. The last shot is a creature kneeling on the other side of the door, putting one hand to the blood. The creature has 4 arms. Then smelling it, I have found you. And finally, for our top headlines, Fortnite. You know, just when you thought that this game has done it all, well, it surprises the living hell out of you. Because this week it was announced that Fortnite is now officially a high school sport. I was born in the wrong generation. Now, before you assume that high school students from around the US are going to dive to their deaths by parachuting out of flying school buses, calm down. Because we're not talking about a real-life battle royale. We're talking about some good old-fashioned sports.
Finish him!
According to IGN, an official competitive Fortnite esports league is coming to high schools and colleges thanks to an organization called PlayVS. PlayVS is a startup that's building an esports league at the high school and now college level. Teams are made up of 2 players competing in Fortnite duos, and schools can register an unlimited number of teams. Now, the official season of Fortnite for high schools starts on February 24th, with college and university seasons beginning on March 2nd of 2020. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's top headline. So, let's jump into this week's top story with the rundown.
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
Xbox. The last 2 years have been extremely impressive for the platform, securing multi-generational backwards compatibility, launching Xbox Game Pass, leading the charge on crossplay, announcing Project xCloud, along with pushing the bar on visuals and graphics with the Xbox One X. And honestly, if Microsoft would have just secured all of these features at the beginning of the Xbox One generation, we likely could have seen a completely different outcome. However, as we move into the next generation with the Xbox Series X, these last 2 years have built a fantastic foundation for success. But Microsoft hasn't stopped there. Because behind the scenes, Microsoft has been working on a secret weapon. A weapon that they hope could change the console landscape forever. And for the purpose of theatrics, we are going to call this weapon Project Exclusive. Now, stay with me here. One of the biggest pain points for Microsoft this last generation has been the lack of exclusives. The Xbox One did have exclusives like Titanfall, Sunset Overdrive, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and Gears of War 5, but it failed to capitalize on that console-selling, once-in-a-generation type of game. And both Phil Spencer and Matt Booty were aware of this. In fact, in 2018, Phil Spencer announced that Microsoft had acquired Ninja Theory, Playground Games, Undead Labs, Obsidian Entertainment, In Exile, and Compulsion Games, along with announcing that they were opening a brand new studio in Santa Monica called The Initiative. Fast forward to 2019, where Microsoft then announced that they have acquired gaming studio Double Fine. And in many ways, this is the foundation to Project Exclusive. Xbox understands that in today's world of entertainment, content is king. And if your platform doesn't have exclusives, it's going to struggle to exist. Prime example of this is Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. All 3 offer streaming content. However, I am willing to bet that you are able to name far more Netflix exclusive shows than Hulu or Amazon. It's not that the content is better in any way, they're just making content that you must see. And the studios that are being acquired by Microsoft are immediately seeing the benefits. Ninja Theory, for example. The studio behind Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice said that the acquisition allowed them to take bigger creative risks and create genre-defining games without the constant threat of annihilation. Ninja Theory can now make games focused on the experience, not around monetization. And that was extremely apparent with the trailer of Hellblade 2. trust me when I say this. This game has the potential to be Microsoft's console-selling once-in-a-generation title. Plus, it doesn't stop with Hellblade. Thanks to Microsoft's acquisition, Ninja Theory can also work on things like Project Insight, a new team that will focus on tackling mental suffering through partnerships with scientists and mental health experts. Project Insight asks the question, what Hellblade achieved was to make the invisible visible. What if we could go further and give people the ability to see, engage, and perhaps overcome their anxieties? Since the acquisition, Ninja Theory is also working on experimental things like Project Mara, a photorealistic game grounded in the real-world representation of mental terror. Ninja Theory is using real-world interviews with patients to ensure that they create a game that is true to the horrors of the mind. And my point with this is just the effect that Microsoft has had on one of these studios. Just imagine for a second what that means for all of the other acquisitions in the last 2 years. Obsidian Entertainment released The Outer Worlds in 2019. What will being under the Microsoft umbrella mean for that studio? Or how about Compulsion Games? We Happy Few was such a bizarre, fascinating concept. What other ideas and worlds will the company be able to bring to life now that they are part of Xbox Game Studio? And this is the part that gets me really excited about Project Exclusive, because the future of Xbox is insanely bright. Exclusives are by far the biggest secret weapon that Microsoft has going, and we will certainly see very soon the effect that Microsoft has had on all of these acquisitions. Xbox is making all of the right moves, meaning that this next generation is going to be very interesting. And finally, for this week, we come to... that noise, of course, signifies that I'm running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, in order to cover all the week's remaining news, I must initiate a segment that I like to call... Every single week, we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying! So with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Thunder noise! And... go! Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Hearthstone Pro Leagues will be streaming exclusively on YouTube for the foreseeable future. Congratulations to the mothership. Now please promote my channel. Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2 will begin on February 20th. Konami has revealed that they are working on 2 unannounced Silent Hill games. Kingdom Hearts is getting a mobile game, marking the first game of 2020 that nobody asked for. Dying Light 2 has been delayed indefinitely, and speaking of delays, Uncharted the movie has been delayed until March 5th of 2020. Sony was working on a Last of Us animated film that would bridge the first and second game, but they canceled it, but good on them, they've uploaded screenshots and stills from the movie. Nioh 2 is getting 3 DLC packs for the year of 2020, and finally, Super Nintendo World is opening in Orlando 2023. Calm down. 2023. We still have time to wait. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nerfed in 60 Seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you liked what you saw, make sure to hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel. As always, my name is Bryant Chappelle. You are you, and this is the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching. Thanks again for checking out our channel. You know, 2020 is going to be a massive year with PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Last of Us, Godfall, and potentially a brand new Assassin's Creed game. So what I'm trying to say is if you like the channel and you want to see more content from us, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends.